This meeting is being recorded.
Okay, welcome. I am here with the Skit Guys, Tommy Woodard and Eddie James. Welcome, guys.
Thanks for having us.
So I know who you guys are, but maybe some of our listeners don't. So can you guys just start off by telling us a little bit about who the Skit Guys are?
Ed, you want to take that one?
Sure. We are two best friends from high school. That we were in theater together. We were the class clowns. We were the guys that was cutting up on the school bus, field trips. We also just really had a love for theater. And then one day, this guy, my senior year, his freshman year in college, my senior in high school, invited me to church, and that's where things took a turn.
A good turn.
Yes.
So you all just recently released a book, Smells Like Bacon. It's hilarious. So if you all would like to learn more about the Skit Guys, they have a really amazing story, amazing testimony about their life and their friendship. So I highly recommend it. Go get it. Smells Like Bacon. It's fabulous. But that's not why we're here today. You all made a movie.
Yeah, that's crazy, isn't it?
It is fabulous. It is called Family Camp. And before we talk about it, because we're going to, why'd you all want to make a movie? What started that? Whose idea was it maybe?
Listen, Eddie and I grew up going to movies together. I mean, when we were in high school, buddies, it was movie. We loved to go see John Hughes films back in the 80s when we were teenagers. And there's always been that thing in the back of our minds of going, gosh, that would be the ultimate thing, you know? But we also felt called to serve the church. We felt like it was our responsibility to use our gifts and talents to honor God. And so it's always, when you say who had that idea, I think it's fair to say that idea has always been there. It just really didn't seem feasible or possible. And then, you know, you hit these days where all of a sudden really good Christian films are being created. And it's like, wait a second, maybe we could do this. And at just the right time, God brought just the right people along to help us on this journey. And I think that's the short version of how it seemed to happen. Ed, is there anything to add to that?
No, that's great. That's great. That's, yeah, in a nutshell, that's perfect. Yeah.
Nailed it. Yes.
So this movie is all about your two families in the film, and you go to church camp. Now, did you guys go to church camp growing up?
Yes. Yeah, we went to church camp as students, and then we were youth pastors, and then we were bringing students to camp and the whole bit. Yeah. So we had a lot of, I guess, background in all of it too. And our two families, the Sanders and the Ackermans, it's more like it's church camp, but it's family camp. So you get to bring all your, bring all the brood with you and everything. And but we did have enough background in the back to go, okay, we know how this works.
Hey, listen, Eddie loved church camp so much that he lied about his age so he could be like a sponsor at church camp. Like that's how much he loved church camp.
I'm with you. I love church camp. I take my kids every year. It is amazing just to get to be there a week. And so I love the premise of this, that you all, it's your families go to camp, and both of your families in the film have their own kind of thing going on. So tell us, just kind of give us the synopsis of the film, but then also start talking a little bit about the message of the film, because it has so many messages for families. It's wonderful.
Oh, you're very kind. Thank you. I'll say, I'll start off with the synopsis. My character is very nominal, average Christian, not that interested in things. His wife, kind of forces the family to go to family camp. He doesn't do what he's supposed to do, and so they don't have a cabin. So they end up having to share a yurt or a tent cabin with another family, which happens to be Eddie's family. Eddie's family is very Christian, plays hymns on the harmonica Christian. And so the storyline is really the struggles that each family has, but the conflict between my character and Eddie's character as these very different men are going through their own process. And in the process, they get lost. And I don't want to give too much away, but there's a lot of fun that happens along the way.
So I was very impressed by this harmonica skill. And I have to ask, can you actually play the harmonica that well?
I learned those songs. and then once the movie was over, I forgot. So if probably if I could pick it up and if you showed it to me again, yeah, I could get it right. But then, yeah, as soon as the movie was over, I stopped playing the harmonica. But yeah, I did learn. Yeah, yeah,
It was very
yeah.
impressive.
Well, and some of that too, just so you know, like I played the harmonica, and then I think the guy that taught me the harmonica, he came back and dubbed
Dub the
over
sound.
my harmonica. So what you hear in the movie, I know there are maybe a few things that are me, but some of that it's like, oh wait, no, that's too good to be me. So yeah, I think
You
they
had
came
a
back and gave him the reins on that, but
yeah,
he
you
did.
had a harmonica stunt double.
I did. Yeah. I got it in the pocket enough, and then they were like, okay, that's good. Nope. That was too good.
Well, it looked very believable.
Well, thanks. I had a good teacher. He taught me how to do all the right moves and how to do it all. So yes, thank you.
Great. Well, Eddie, could you talk a little bit about the message behind the film? Maybe what you all hope parents and families walk away from after they see this.
Yeah, thank you. A few things with that. I know in the world that we live in today that the only family movies are cartoons and superhero movies. And even with cartoons, we could make a contestment for, oh, this looks good, and like you have parents going, oh wait, I did not know that's what this is going to be about. I mean, it's currently happening. So one thing that we try to do, we believe that laughter breaks down walls for truth to enter. If you can make someone laugh, you can make them think, you can talk to their hearts. And that's, you said you've seen us for 15, 20 years. That's all we've always tried to do. If you can get someone settled and they're laughing, they're going to be more comfortable. Then you have to have something to say. We try to make a movie where parents, they don't have to worry. If we get to make more movies, they don't have to worry about the real estate that they're going into, of a word that they're going to hear. There's no bait and switch. They can go to these movies and go, okay, we're all going to laugh. Whether you're 2 years old or 200 years old, you're going to laugh. If you're 200 years old, you're going to, wow. But we tried to create a movie that you're going to laugh a lot, and then you're going to hear the message of God. We try to make God gravity too, not like it's like it's just stilted in there, and we have to get God in there to make it a Christian movie or a faith-based movie. But we try to make God gravity to where you are in the car after a movie and your teenager has something to say, and your parents can ask, hey, what did you think about, when they said this? We deal with parent issues. We deal with hurt people. We deal with baggage that we all carry into adulthood. We carry, there's messages in there of how we deal with our kids, and are we controlling too much, or are we giving enough? We deal with God, no matter where you are. Sometimes we look at other people and go, here's Jesus, and they are Jesus Jr., and we are way down here. And that's just not true. But we all get in this comparison trap instead of just living this life that God created us to be. So lots of little messages like that, a cornucopia, if you will, to where when you get in the car or if you go see it again, there's going to be things you go, oh wow, I really love that. I love that, and I'm gonna learn more about that. Does that help?
Yeah, I think both of your characters are very different. That's what makes it so funny. And at times they almost clash, but they're both extremely relatable. Tommy, your character is, kind of that quintessential modern businessman who that is life, that is what is important. And I see families, I see dads especially resonating with this character. So as your character, Tommy, what do you hope that dads walk away from after seeing Family Camp, the movie?
That's a great question. Yeah, the character Tommy Ackerman, it's all business. It's all climbing the corporate ladder. I hope that as a dad goes and sees this, that he does relate, but that he laughs a lot. I mean, we need that after the 2 years we've been through. We just need a good laugh. So I'm going to be honest and go, I hope they go and laugh really hard. In the process, I hope that God tenderizes their hearts towards their kids, towards their wife and towards him. I mean, that's the ultimate hope, you know, that you realize that while we do need to work hard in this life and be responsible, that there are other things that are even more important. And that really is family.
That message is super, super clear in this. The pastor in the film kind of starts off and says something along the lines of that, like, family is the most important thing. And that's such a huge message. But I think it's also for Christian families, the message is that raising your family in the Lord, leading your family, is such a key film. So I would like to ask you guys, you're both dads, what are some ways that you have had maybe success or failure, because not everything we do is a win, in leading your family in the Lord, specifically parents. So as KidMin leaders with KidzMatter, we are equipping, encouraging, resourcing moms and dads to lead. So what advice would you maybe give?
That is you want to go, Eddie? That's a tall order.
Yeah.
Maybe I should have given you the questions in advance.
While he's looking, I'll just say what was on my mind. My kids are grown up now. I've got a 24-year-old daughter and I've got a 20-year-old son. So, you know, we're kind of now at that place of going, how do we do? You know, I think the best I could say is let your kids be your kids. Like so many times, I think it's that temptation to have our kids be who we want them to be rather than who God created them to be. So set the example for them, realize that things are caught more than taught, and set the example for who you need to be, and then allow them to be who God created them to be. Which
is another theme I seem to remember from family camp.
It's there. We tried to get all the themes in there.
I read I have two daughters. One is 18, senior in high school, and one is 16. So one's about to graduate and one's about to drive. They say that when they turn, you know, their senior year, that's when it's all over. No, it's really over when they start to drive. And you know, they have that freedom. But I read this book. She Calls Me Daddy, when my girls were just little bitty. And the intentionality of that book really shaped me and changed me. One big thing that I did, and I'm not patting myself on the back, I say all this to say, I would go on daddy-daughter dates. I was very intentional. Once a month with both my girls separately, we would go on a daddy-daughter date. And if the month was too busy, I would be creative and I would make it a double daddy-daughter date. They had no idea that my schedule was just so busy. But I think I could look back on every month as they were growing up, that we had a daddy-daughter date or a double daddy-daughter date. Those times I look back now as they are teenagers when they don't want to spend any time with me whatsoever. Those were investments. And COVID, to a day that I get angry, a day that I can be controlling, a day that I'm not listening, or I'm not sitting on the curb as they hurt, you take out a debit. You take out a debit every time with your kids like that. There was a lot of credits invested on those daddy-daughter dates. I still make them go on daddy-daughter dates. I go, hey, we're going on one. And they're like, you know, but I know at some point, Tommy and I, we go see movies a lot still. I fall asleep in them, but we go see movies. There was a movie with Matthew McConaughey called Interstellar, I think. He had to go to space and save the world, and he may die, and his daughter was very sad. But he gave this quote that just haunts me. When I woke up, I heard this quote. And the quote was, as Matthew McConaughey said it, we are memories for our kids. And we exist to be memories for our kids. And I was like, that is the most awful quote. But at the end of the day, when we are laid to rest, the only people that are going to remember us, just as we remember people that are close to us, our family members, those are our memories. Those are the people that instilled in us and built into us. I take that very, very seriously. So I know even some of these times they're going to look back and go, okay, yeah, dad was intentional. Dad did this. Dad did this. Even if I didn't want it, dad loved me. And dad took time with me. Even when he fell on his face at times, he still took time with me. So that I would say the daddy-daughter dates were huge, especially right now as they're teenagers. Yeah.
I love that. I love that. In the film, your character, he's a bit eccentric, Eddie. He's a galactic chiropractic,
Uh-huh.
is his business. And he has a line in there, and he says, God doesn't make junk, and that includes me. Could you maybe unpack that a little bit? Because that's a big one for kids, for teens, for parents, for every human being. At times we struggle with self-worth. So could you unpack that line a little bit more?
I would be honored to. That comes straight from my own baggage, my own hurt, my own self-esteem. You know, growing up, no matter what your childhood is like, if it wasn't a great one, you tend to deal with, when you look in the mirror, you don't like what you see. And so it's very hard to believe that a God that created the whole universe and the cosmos could love you and see you as an original masterpiece, Ephesians 2:10. And so that I think that phrase comes and wells up with a lot of hurt and awe and wonder of God loves each one of us. God cares for each one of us. We are his, Psalm 139 says that the number of times he thinks about us would outnumber the grains of sand. And if you fully go, wow, okay, God likes me. God loves me. I'm enough. I'm enough. And I think we all kind of look in the mirror and go, I don't know if I'm enough. I don't know if I totally make the line here. So that was a very important line to go. If we can remember that, and I love that you remembered it, because it's a big line. Yeah.
So how much of the film was from personal experiences, or how much was, just the creative process?
That's a good question. I think, you always want to go, oh, most of it. I don't really know that that's true, because the character that I play is not me. The character that Eddie plays is not him. Neither one of us fall into that category. I think I've known Eddie almost all of his life, and I think both of us have tried to be much more intentional as dads and as husbands than either one of these men in the movie are. I think if there's any life stuff in there, it's probably the camaraderie that you see between these two guys, because Eddie and I don't know how not to be friends. Like, we don't know how to not complete each other's sandwiches, so it's like, it's I think that's about as close as it gets, is we look a lot alike.
And I will say this, I think because we're TV watchers, we've always been TV watchers. We've always been moviegoers, even though I fall asleep today. And what we hated was the dads are dumb. You can go from any sitcoms to kids shows to shows on prime time to movies. Dads are dumb. Dads, the beautiful wife and the dad is a doofus. And, goodness gracious, how they even make it through. We wanted to really make sure that we weren't doing characterizations of that. And we also weren't making, the Christian have it all together, and the Christian that comes, call them the CEOs, they come at Christian Easter only, right? That we're not making them out to be the bad guys, so life is messy. Life is just a congealed, and we're all in it together trying to figure out how do we make it. And we all learn stuff along the way. Nobody has it together until we cross the finish line when we die and we hear, well done, good and faithful servant. So we really tried to give some characters that weren't cookie cutter and didn't have it all together.
And I think that definitely comes across when you watch the film. If you feel like you have it all together, or you're struggling, whatever end of the spectrum you're on as a parent, I think this movie really resonates with them. There are so many messages just woven in throughout, little ones, big ones, huge ones. And it just all kind of culminates with, mom and dad, you need to be intentionally leading your family. I love this. I think it's so timely. I'm sure you all are aware that the family is breaking down. the church is struggling because families aren't there. And I love this message. It's happy, it's fun, it's silly, but it packs a punch. So
Thank you.
it does. Amber Pike seal of approval. Not that you needed it, but I loved it.
You think little kids will like it? We
I
tried,
do.
with the beaver and just all the little fun things. And
So we did, unfortunately at my house, we don't have internet. It's fun. We have like a hotspot and it's not enough to do things. So we came up to church. We planned a whole family movie night up at church. We moved the couch from the youth room into my classroom because I have the bigger TV. And we ordered pizza and we did a whole family movie night. And we were so excited. We went to Dollar Tree and got boxed candy to make it. And my 10-year-old was engaged the whole time. He loved it. He laughed. My 4-year-old, who doesn't sit through a full movie very well, was engaged about half the time, and then she started playing with a bucket of sand. But she was still watching. So yeah, I mean, I've got both ends of the spectrum for kids, and they were engaged and they loved it. And my son was laughing and he was so excited that I get to talk to you guys today. So yes, I think every age is gonna connect, and it's gonna have great discussions. And I hope, as I'm sure your all's hope, is that it makes dads, especially as the leader of the church, which is the leader of the home, which is a big theme in there. I hope it wakes dads up.
Yeah, I hope that it's an encouragement. We didn't make a movie that is meant to tell dads, here's how you're supposed to live, or here's how you're supposed to act. We made a movie that we really believe is meant to encourage more than anything, that dads can walk out of that theater. Eddie says this a lot, and I really agree with it, that they can walk out feeling like a hero because they brought their whole family someplace together and they laughed together, but also that they can walk out of that theater and go, you know what, I can do this. Like with God's help, I can be the man that he created me to be, and it's not an unreachable goal.
Yeah. I love when we do a live show and we get to stand in lines, and shake hands and take pictures and do all that. What I love, and I'm jealous of it, because what we get to see, I just love this, is a dad will wait in line with their kids because their kids want us to sign something or take a picture. And then the dad will lean in and shake the hand, and he's kind of teary-eyed and he's going, thank you. You just gave us a great night. Thank you. And there's enough adult humor that he's laughing at things the kids don't even get, but there's enough physical humor that the kids are laughing. And I'm jealous of that, because I want to sit with my girls and watch something and watch them laugh and have a great time. And because you feel like a king. It's like when you go on a date, and the date is over, and the girl goes, that was amazing, thank you. And you're like, yeah, I made that dinner, I made that movie, and the guy didn't do anything, right? The guy just showed up and paid, and we get to do that. And here's what's so great. Family camp so far, pre-sales, renting out theaters, most faith-based movies for the past 15 years have been motivated by women going, we're going to rent out theaters. Men are doing that. So this is a different turn. So I love it. I want them all. I want the women to do it. I want the men to do it. But they're seeing a trend that they haven't seen before, which is so great, that men are going, let's run out of theater. And that can be pastors and youth pastors and church leaders, because we've been in this world for so long. But I think there's dads as well going, no, I'm going to take the charge on that. We're going to get 25 people and go to a theater. So it's been really encouraging and neat to watch.
Yeah. So let's talk about that a little bit, because Family Camp, the release date is coming soon. By the way, you said you wanted to go with your daughters. There's this movie coming out called Family Camp. You should probably take them to go see it.
Good idea.
But it's coming out May 13th is the official release date, which is so exciting. And you talked that you could book out a theater. Could you tell us a little more about that?
Yeah, Eddie, I'll let you take that. You understand that better than I do.
Yes, they are April 13th. I think the tickets open up, but we are taking emails and stuff. Can I show this? Is that okay? Can I show this email?
Yes.
Is that okay? I don't even know if y'all can see it or not, but
yeah. Hold it up just a little more.
Okay.
There you go. Perfect.
Her name is Jackie Papier at gmail.com. basically, Jackie is saying I'll just keep that there just for a minute, just in case. She is saying that there has just been a surge of people since this trailer has hit the internet, that people are going, put me on the waiting list. Whenever tickets open up, I want them in a theater. And so she is saying that people, churches, individuals are going, I want to be there. Tommy, and you can help me on this. May 13th, which is Friday the 13th, it's so important that people go out and get tickets and watch it that weekend. What we're trying really hard not to do, we know in the past with faith-based movies, it's almost like you got to go. I think what we have with congregations is they've been using our videos for so long. It's not like we're strangers to them, but the ask is, hey, let's go do this together. Tom, what would you add to that?
Yeah, I mean, I would just encourage you. This is a great opportunity. We have been stuck in our homes for 2 years, and movies are meant to be enjoyed on the big screen. And this is a big movie. Like there are some great scenes. I mean, there is action, there's explosions, it's meant to be enjoyed on the big screen. And so like, this is that opportunity to take your whole family out for a night and get the popcorn and the Coke. And, aren't we all done with microwave popcorn, right? And canned Coke, like go get the free refills. Like it's one of those things. And if we get into that mindset of, I'm just going to wait, I'll watch it later on when I can sit at home and watch it, we miss out on the opportunity to say to Hollywood, hey, these are the kind of movies we want. Like that's all they understand. And so what we've learned through this process is that opening weekend, for us, that's the weekend of May 13th. That's the most important weekend. And so if you can get out and go see it that weekend, you send a great message saying, these are the kind of movies we want, and that allows us to hopefully make more movies for your whole family.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think whenever Christmas Vacation hit their 20th anniversary, I don't even know what year that was, because it came out in the 90s, but I still remember to this day Chevy Chase saying, because he was asked about Christmas Vacation and the duration and what makes that movie so good, and because and it was because it's funny, and he said that it always stuck with me. A comedy that you want people to sit down and watch, you got to watch this movie. You got to watch this movie. You're going to laugh at least 12 times, really hard. Like they may not laugh, but you resonate with that movie and you want to share it with others because it's made you laugh at least 12 times. We took that to heart to go, in a faith-based, family-friendly movie, it can't be 12. It has to be like 30. Like we got to figure out how to raise that bar of comedy, especially in a faith-based movie, to where people that are going, well, we shouldn't laugh. We shouldn't laugh in church, or we shouldn't, we got to take God seriously. We do have to take God seriously, but laughter is really great medicine, unless you break your leg. So we really did try to go not just 12, but hopefully there's at least 30 times that you laugh out loud in this movie.
I would say easily, yes. But it's not just a silly comedy, because while you're laughing, you've got all the feels. The ending, I'm not going to give anything away, but the ending gives you all of the feels. It's funny, but it packs a point. And then when you walk away at the end, you're like, okay, what do I need to do? What do I need to do as a mom, as a dad leading my kid? What's my next step? Because it's one that you're not just going to watch and be like, hey, that was great, you should see it, it was funny. It's one that's going to stick with you. And I really think that.
Thank you for those words. That was the goal.
Yes. You winning at the goal. So our audience is KidMin leaders. And COVID's really shifted the church and children's ministry to where we see how crucial it is to get mom and dad leading. Most churches are still not seeing the same numbers before. Parents just aren't bringing back their kids to church, not necessarily because of fear of the virus anymore, but priorities have shifted, life, whatever. So what advice, as we wrap up, because I want to honor your all's time, what advice would you give to children's ministry leaders who are trying to train and equip and resource moms and dads?
Thank you for asking that. Eddie and I both serve in local churches, and I can tell you that my church really is struggling with this. And our children and preschool leaders are so frustrated. They don't know what to do. I think that what I would just say is don't give up. Like don't stop reaching out. Continue to love on those kids from a distance. Don't stop making the phone calls and sending the emails, and just keep being persistent. I think this will turn around. I just think it's going to take some time, and don't give up, and don't lose sight of why you do what you do. We never got into this so that we would have more people or kids or anything. We got in it to honor God. And so keep honoring God with everything that you do.
I love that.
It's a good word. It's a good word. Children's ministry kind of reminds me right now, because it used to be, when the doors were open, kids were there, right? And so it kind of reminds me of junior high ministry a little bit. And back when I was a youth pastor, you would write a letter because there wasn't text, or you would make a phone call. So you would call Jimmy, hey, Jimmy, and Jimmy would be like, hey, and be like, hey, I didn't see you at church this past weekend. Just want to see if you're okay. Yeah. Okay. Anything I can be praying for you about? No. Okay. Hey, man, I hope you have a great week, buddy. I hope you have a really great week. Okay. All right. Okay. Hey, I hope to see you this Sunday. Probably not. Okay. I hang up the phone, but this is what they do. Mom, my youth pastor called me. What was that about? And so I think what Tommy said, to add on to what Tommy said, I mean, that's it. We just, in this dream of wanting families to be together, we've had some dead ends and delays and some difficulties, but we can't give up. We can't give up, because in those delays and dead ends and difficulties, we learn to pivot and tweak how we minister, and maybe some other ideas come forward to go, that's how I'm going to reach them. That's how I'm going to let them know I love them. And then that excitement, even though we feel like we're failing, there's some excitement on the other end. We just got to be patient for the deliverance, because it's going to happen. And we're going to see those stories of, hey, you called me and I was really thankful. Hey, you texted me and I know I didn't text back. I was in just a lousy time, a lousy season, but thank you. I think we just can't give up. We're going to see the fruit. We're going to see the harvest.
I love
Can
that.
I just add one more thing to that?
Can you tell we're pastors? Can you tell that?
Right?
I can.
Yeah.
I
We need
can.
3 points in a poem. But it sometimes it goes without saying, and then sometimes it goes because we forget to say it. But pray, man, write down every one of those kids' names, and even if it's just one kid a day, pray for them. That we don't have time to cover it, but the truth of the matter is, we made a movie because of prayer. It was a sacrifice of going to God and giving up and going, you know what, it's all in your hands, God. And so, man, it doesn't matter how many phone calls we make, how many letters we write, how many whatever, God's the one who does the heavy lifting. So be praying for every one of those kids and every one of their families, and trust that his Holy Spirit is going to be the one to do the really important work.
I love that. That is such a great reminder for KidMin leaders, because discouragement is real in KidMin. I want to tell real quick, because you will have another amazing resource out there on Facebook for families, bedtime Bible stories. So if you all are looking for something to just recommend to families, it is a hilarious, just little short. Well, I'll let you all tell. You can tell it better than me. So tell us, what is bedtime Bible stories, and how can people tune in?
I love bedtime Bible stories. Has been so much fun. It was our answer to the pandemic. When everything shut down, my buddy Eddie had this great idea, and that was, let's tell people Bible stories. Let's encourage them. And so we started doing that, and it took off, and it has been so much fun. In essence, what it is about 20 minutes, and it is my buddy Eddie and I bringing a Bible story to life, and having so much fun. Through the past 2 years, we've been able to interact with lots of kids and their families, and you can watch it on Facebook, but you can also go to skitguys.com and watch it there. SGTV, Skit Guy, is that right, Eddie?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
We're not good at this.
We'll figure it out, and we'll drop it in the link.
Put this link, whatever it is, wherever the link is. Yeah. But you can go there and you can watch every episode of Bedtime Bible Stories. You can also watch our other videos for free. It's not a bait and switch. We're not trying to get anything. We're just trying to encourage the family.
Yeah. Bedtime. I don't know if you can see that. Is that about right?
Yeah, perfect.
Okay, so that's me and Tommy in high school, just two buddies, thinking that they're going to go be on Saturday Night Live, but God had other plans. And these two guys in high school, that's what they did in youth group, was what Bedtime Bible Stories is. Our youth pastor would give us the topic, and we'd go into a Sunday school room and try to figure out a skit, and we'd improv that sucker. We'd get the Bible wrong. Hopefully we're theologically correct and more sound today. But that's what Bedtime Bible Stories has been to me. Every episode, if you watch them, it's like, oh, that's these guys. That's these guys just having fun on God's amazing playground that we call life, and we get to share a little bit of bread with our fellow believers.
Mm-hmm.
I love it. All right. So Kidmin leaders, you need to go and tell all of your families about Family Camp, the movie coming out May 13th. Go and make a big church-wide event, book a whole movie theater, plan to take your family. But then I also recommend check out Bedtime Bible Stories, read their book, Smells Like Bacon, and you can learn more about their friendship. You will laugh. You might cry. But definitely go check out Family Camp, the movie. You can see the trailer, all of that. Get tickets at familycampmovie.com, and it comes out May 13th. Tommy, Eddie, thank you guys so much for talking with us. But most of all, thank you for making this awesome movie.
Thank you so much. It's our pleasure.